All right, so we'll start with a real simple one. I've only put 5 PCs up here, but again, that's because it fits nicely on the screen. Pictures of 50 or 500 doesn't matter either way to me. Simple question. So I'll look for somebody, a volunteer here. Company has 5 PCs. They simply want to run Office. Pretty straightforward. They only have 3 employees. Again, 50 and 30, however you want to play it out. Well, they have that one problem child. We all know who he is. He runs around the office during the day, and the logs in every different PC. Right? It's not familiar to anybody? So 3 employees, 5 PCs, they want to run Office, but they're never running on more than 3 PCs at a time. How many Office licenses? And here? 5 Office licenses. Exactly. But see, this time, something as simple as this sometimes tends to cause confusion for people. Like, oh, it's only 3 at a time. Well, that's called concurrency. We don't do concurrency. You know. Or, as I guess, oh, wait a minute, but that doesn't sound right, because what happens if there's more people and less PCs? That doesn't sound right either. And so they get all caught up in this. So understanding how the products are licensed is important, because then here's an example of how people start going, well, wait, what about this and that? Same scenario, but this time they have 10 people versus 5. So people say, wait a minute, because you have a day crew, and they go home, and the evening crew comes in, so they got 10 people, and that means 10 AD accounts. If there's 10 AD accounts, that means 10 users. There's 10 users. Oh my goodness, that means I have to buy 10 Office licenses? Step back. How is Office licensed? 1 per device. How many devices do you have? You have 5. But, step back. Let's just stop. Sometimes less is more. Right? And so it's simply understanding it that way. Because I've seen situations like this where they'll sell a client 10 Office licenses. That means 5 more than they need, which doesn't sound bad again, but now make this 50 and 30. That makes a big difference. Like 50 PCs. Every dollar they spent on those extra Office licenses came out of that budget. They're throwing money away. I mean, at Microsoft, it's a lot more money for us. But again, let's not do that. I mean, not more money for Microsoft, that's good. But not this way. I'd rather spend that money spent on those extra 5 Office licenses looking at why they should put a server on. Or why they should move to SharePoint. Or why they should do something else they're not doing today. So again, creating that budget, helping them license it the right way versus the wrong way to start with. So going back to type of licenses. So we talk about OEM, right? Office can be out there. It's a cheap and expensive way to get out there. Well, so here's a common situation, right? Customer wants, they would bring in PCs, and again, 5 fits nicely on the machine, on the screen, but it can be as many as you want it to be. They want to bring an Office. They want to run it off a file server or using terminal services. So they understand that Office needs to be licensed 1 per device. They've heard that speech. They know now how I connect to the matter, 1 per, okay. So they go out and buy 5 OEM Office licenses. So they have 1 per device. Do they need to buy anything else to move forward with this?
5 more.
Is that?
5 more copies of Office.
5 more?
Licensing.
Yes. And that's exactly the question, and that's exactly the answer, because they'll say, oh, wait, I need 1 per. But they forget about that second question, right? What kind of licenses do you need to buy? Because they don't think about an OEM license has no downgrade rights, no transfer rights, no network storage and use, none of that built into it. They just think a license is a license. By simply moving over to, because OEM has none of that. As such, they can't connect that through terminal services. Right? They do. They're running Office completely illegally. They can't run it off of a network store because they don't have any rights for that. And how many clients load on images to make license management easier, deployment easier, right? Pretty common. OEM doesn't have that network storage and use rights built in. Important thing to know because it helps open up opportunities for them. Makes the deployment easier, the maintaining easier. Simply by positioning it with volume licensing, right? Simple thing, again, just buy 5 the right way. By doing that, volume licensing has network storage and use rights, downgrade rights, transfer rights, all those things that most businesses want to utilize. So I put this sheet together because, again, when you think about it, licensing isn't all too complex when you look at it from a scope that most people think about. If they want to know what are my options. So if you ever put them down side by side, how do you ever actually look at licenses side by side? Well, one offers greater. Yes, it's very interesting when you look at it. Most people look at it, it opens a whole new perspective. OEM next to retail box, next to volume licensing. So open business is the first one. Think about open value selector off to the right hand side. Again, it's just an Office license, but drastically different. And each no you see means one less opportunity for you guys to go in and help somebody, and one less opportunity for them to go and take advantage of something. again, it's drastically different. The slides will be available afterwards too, so that's sort of a nitro, but just quickly as a glance. And if anybody wants these, just so you know, again, I posted off available. You guys can download all these on the Office Professional Standard and the Small Business Edition up on the blog, MS Small Business blog, back on September 18th, 20th.